This is continuing courtroom coverage in the trial of James Crumbley from the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. Now, back to the courtroom.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I appreciate that. All right, so, I'm going to now introduce Exhibit 164. And okay, what is this?
That's the Cobra ENT Classic 2-shot 22 caliber Derringer purchased by Mr. Crumbley. I believe he paid for it on the 15th of June of 2021 and picked it up on the 16th of June 2021.
Okay, and this is pretty small.
Yes.
Okay, so what is this used for typically, if you know? And how many rounds can it hold?
It can hold 2 rounds. I mean, in today's, I don't know if I can say exactly what it's used for. People use firearms for very different purposes, but I know that that's been used in the past for a variety of different things.
Okay. Thank you. And again, this was purchased when, if you know?
It was June 16th of 2021.
Okay. And that was 164. Okay. And this is 165. And again, do you know what this is?
Yes, that's the Kel-Tec P17 22 caliber pistol purchased by Mr. Crumbley on June 17th of 2021.
Okay, and if you know, how was this weapon made safe by you or somebody else before I handle it?
Yes.
And how was it made safe?
When I was going through the last trial, cutting off zip ties and putting new ones on, racked and slide 3 times, made sure there was no round in the chamber, and then myself and Lieutenant Willis installed zip ties on firearms.
Okay, so there's a zip tie in this?
Yes.
Okay. And again, can you tell the jury what this is? What caliber of weapon this is?
Yes, that's a 22 caliber pistol.
Okay. And in a moment, we're going to see the defendant's son handling a video. Is this the weapon that he was handling in that video?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to hand this to you because I'd like you to explain to the jury how to safely handle this weapon in terms of what the safety means on and off. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you. So this is the Kel-Tec P17 pistol. So it's not an official phrase, but it's what one a lot of people use is red means dead. So when the safety is off, you can see the red dot. So to engage the safety, you have to, put the safety up. I don't think it's going to do that now with the, it'll go up now. Yeah, with the zip tie, sometimes it's hard to get the sliding all the way forward. But now the safety would be engaged. So if you pull the trigger, it's not supposed to fire. And when you come back down, that means red means dead. That means the safety is off.
Okay. And that, is this also, do you use a magazine with this gun?
Yes.
Okay. And how many rounds, if you know, does that hold?
16 rounds in the chamber, 1 round in the magazine, 1 round in the chamber for a total of 17.
Okay. Were there any gun cases recovered in the home?
Yes.
All right. I'm handing you what's People's Exhibit 166. Can you tell the jury what that is?
Yes, this is the pistol case that goes with the Kel-Tec P17 pistol that I was just holding. It was located in the kitchen under the island in the kitchen of the Crumbley residence.
Okay. And can you, if you wouldn't mind standing and showing how that is opened and what it looks like?
And this is the Sig Sauer, the cable lock that comes with the Sig Sauer pistol that was
We're going to get to that.
inside the Kel-Tec box.
So this is proposed exhibit 42. This case was Was this cable lock found in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And you said it was located in the kitchen?
Yes.
Where exactly in the kitchen, if you know?
I believe it was one of the cabinets underneath the island of the kitchen, or a kitchen cabinet.
Okay. Was there any gun in it?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the Caltech box, right?
This
Yes,
is
Your Honor.
this is the Caltech box, 166. All right. And was there any other case found in the home?
Yes, one
Gun
other.
case. Okay. I want to just make the distinction here. Is there a difference between a gun case and a gun safe?
Yes.
Okay. What is it? And when I'm saying safe, I mean a portable safe.
Sure. So a gun case is generally what comes from the manufacturer, or sometimes a gun store, if they're selling you a used firearm, will use an old gun case to give with you. But the Caltech box I was just holding has 2 holes in it that can be locked. That's a gun case. That's what comes with the purchase of a firearm, specifically a handgun most of the time.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yes, there are holes on both sides that a locking mechanism could be run through to lock the case itself.
Did you find any of those locking mechanisms, or was it found just like this?
There were no locking mechanisms in it when it was found.
Okay. I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 167. And you might have to stand to show the jury so they can hear it. What do you know what that is?
Yes, this is it's a small pistol safe. So it's got a combination lock and. So it would just, you close the lock, it's typical, your standard combination lock. You close it, spin the dial, and have your combination code.
And do you know where that was found in the house?
Yes, it was in the on a TV stand in the Crumbley, Mr. and Mrs. Crumbley's bedroom on the right-hand side inside of a cabinet.
All right. And was there anything in it?
Yes.
What was in it?
So there was the Caltech P17 pistol as well as a Derringer 2-shot 22 caliber handgun as well, both inside this safe.
And that was the small gun that we just showed the jury, correct?
Correct. Yeah, they both fit in here.
And then the Caltech that you just showed them with the safety.
Yes.
Those 2 guns.
That's
Okay.
correct.
So
Yes, this one. Hold down here.
there's a combination on this safe,
Yes.
and do you know what the combination was?
Well, I know what it is. I just opened it. It's 000.
Okay. Was this the combination at the time when this safe was found?
Yes.
Okay. Does the SIG fit in that gun case?
It does not.
Gun SIG.
It does not fit.
Even if it's just by itself without any other handgun?
Correct.
Okay. Was there any other case found in the home?
Yes.
And I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 41. And what is this?
This is the.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is the Sig Sauer SP 2022, the murder weapon. This is the pistol case that would have came with it. Similar to the Caltech, it does have 2 holes to be locked as well.
Okay. And I'm going to open that. All right. And where was this found, if you know?
This was found on the on top of the bed in the Mr. and Mrs. Crumbley's bedroom.
Was there anything in it?
At the time, no, it looked like this.
Okay. Was there anything underneath the phone?
I learned later that there was, yes.
Okay. Do you want to tell the jury what that was?
Yes. So there is a receipt for the SP 2022 from the gun store in Oxford, as well as the ATF Youth Handgun Safety Act notice pamphlet that was previously discussed.
Okay. And is that something they have to provide?
Yes.
All right. Special Agent Brandon, what was your reaction to finding that? When did you find that the pamphlet was in here? If you know.
For this pamphlet, I found that this was in the case during preparation for the trial of Mr. Crumbley's wife.
And did you know where it was up until that point?
You're going to object to relevance on this line of questioning.
About where it was? I guess I didn't really understand the question, where that box was?
So I don't want to put words in his mouth, but as an offer of proof, it was not clear to Special Agent Brandon, based on the crime scene and the search of the home, where the ATF pamphlet was that he knew must have had to have been sold with this gun. And he picked up the phone and saw it sometime after, is what he's saying.
Okay.
So not the case itself, Your Honor, but the pamphlet that was within the case along with the receipt. I'm objecting to the relevance of questionings about that, not the case itself.
Okay, well, I think the pamphlet being sold with the gun is relevant, and its location in the home is relevant, so I'm going to overrule the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'm going to ask him about the pamphlet and ask to read excerpts of the pamphlet, and I know that opposing counsel actually asked Ed Wagrowski to do that, so I'm hoping there's not an objection, but I can lay a proper foundation if there is.
Okay, now I don't know if you answered the question about where he found the
I didn't.
pamphlet.
Thank you, Your Honor. What was your reaction to that?
To finding the pamphlet?
Yes.
So when I lifted up the phone and saw the pamphlet in there, I was shocked.
Okay, why?
Yeah, as the pamphlet says on the front, it says Youth Handgun Safety Act notice. Means they were on notice. They had to pick this up and move it to the back of that gun case and basically discard it underneath the phone.
Okay, and can you tell the jury what's the purpose of the law requiring that pamphlet to be given to someone purchasing a gun?
The purpose of it, do you want me to read from it?
First, I want you to tell me the purpose, and then I want you to read.
So the purpose of the pamphlet is to inform the buyer of the firearm that juvenile gun violence is a major problem, and that safely securing your firearm will prevent that from happening.
Okay, and if you open it up, where does it refer to that?
So on the first page it says Youth Handgun Safety Act notice, and there's 4 bullet points. The first says the misuse of handguns is a leading contributor to juvenile violence and fatalities. And the second one says safely storing and securing firearms away from children will help prevent the unlawful possession of handguns by juveniles, stop accidents, and save lives.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And, Your Honor, we've marked the pamphlet as, we're going to mark it as 168. I don't know if it was admitted previously. We did discuss it in other witnesses.
Okay, you're moving for the initial.
Yes.
168. An objection?
No.
168 is submitted.
All right. I want to go back to make sure, like the Caltech box, there is the same, these two like little plastic loops. What are those?
So those are designed by the manufacturer so that the case is capable of being locked, so you could actually lock your pistol inside that case.
Okay. When this was found, do you know if there was any locking mechanism in it at all?
There were not.
Okay. Were the 3 guns purchased by James Crumbley, including the SIG for his son, did they have to be registered?
So it's my understanding, based on prior investigation as part of the task force and as part of this case, that the handguns were required to be registered within the state of Michigan, yes.
And what's the timing on that?
So if you receive a pistol sales record from a federal firearms licensee in the state of Michigan, you have 10 business days to drop it off, or 10 days to drop it off at like a local county sheriff's office, your local police department. In this case, obviously the murder weapon was purchased 4 days before, so there was still some time left to drop that off. Obviously, that never occurred.
Okay. Were any of those handguns registered?
No.
All right. I want to go back to November 30th for a moment, and you said you connected with Lieutenant Myre's band, and what was the purpose of doing that?
So the purpose of connecting with him at the time was to help in any way I could. He had started working on a search warrant from the Crumbley family residence, and as part of that, I offered my assistance with whatever was necessary.
Okay. Did you have to watch the surveillance video, or did you watch the surveillance video?
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything notable about it?
Yes, there were 3 things that, and watching the surveillance video from the shooting that I found relevant.
And what were they?
So the first was the stance that the shooter took for the shot that killed Tate. I noticed that he had some type of firearms training. It appeared to me that he did. I remember remarking to the people in the room at the time that that's what I thought. He had taken what we refer to as a shooter stance. His shoulders were rolled forward, his feet were spread. So that was the first thing that I noticed.
And what did that tell you?
I thought he had some level of proficiency with firearms, whether he had been to a gun range, whether he had training, or just been at least introduced to firearms in the past.
Okay. And then the second thing?
So the second thing was what's called a tactical magazine exchange, or what some other departments call a combat reload. So after the shooter moved through the school, and after reloading his first magazine, his firearm was completely empty, so he loaded a fully loaded magazine into the firearm and continued to shoot. After that, after firing several rounds, he ejected that magazine, placed it in his pocket, and then inserted a full magazine into the firearm so that he was fully loaded in the firearm.
And what's the purpose of that? Why is that significant?
So the way we're trained, at least for law enforcement shootings, is that if you're involved in an incident, you always want to have as much ammunition as possible. So if you have a brief moment where the gunfire is low on the gunfire, if you're in a gunfight, would be to eject your partially loaded magazine, insert a full one, but not to throw it on the ground and keep it for later in case you need it.
Okay. What's the third thing?
So the third thing was when the shooter came out of the bathroom and surrendered to law enforcement. Prior to them coming down the hallway, he took the magazine out of the firearm and he forgot to didn't rack a round out of the chamber, so there was still a round in the chamber, I believe. But he took the magazine out and placed it on top of a trash bin, which I found unique. Not something that someone would do if they had just committed a mass shooting.
After viewing that, what did you do next as a result of noting those 3 things?
So my responsibility at the time was to help Lieutenant Marc create a timeline for the affidavit. After noting those things, the following day, the day after the shooting, I began to start an investigation, thinking that the shooter had been to a gun range, contacted a gun range in the area, and confirmed he had in fact been to the range.
How did you know how did you pick that gun range?
It's probably the most popular gun range in the area and for driving distance from the Crumbley residence.
All right, and as a result of your investigation leading to looking at gun range visits, what was uncovered?
So at the gun range, we were able to, it was a gun range in Clarkston, able to locate surveillance video for 2 instances, as well as receipts for visits. I believe there was numerous visits. I believe it was around 8 total visits.
And were there any other tools in the investigation you used to determine visits to gun range and who was there and at what time?
Yes, so in addition to the actual records and surveillance video, forensic review of the extractions of the Mr. Crumbley's cell phone, as well as his son's and Mrs. Crumbley's, put together more visits to the ranges as well as videos of those instances.
All right. I'm going to show, just one moment here. Let's start with June 15th of 2021. Do you know why that date's significant?
Yes, that was the date Mr. Crumbley initiated the purchase for the Derringer.
Okay, and the slides in People's 169, what are we looking at?
This is a Facebook conversation between James and Jennifer Crumbley on the 15th of June, 2021.
Okay, now time, it says UTC -4, 11:34 a.m. Is that the actual time?
Yes.
Okay, and can you read the text in blue? What does blue indicate? Which person?
Blue is Jennifer Crumbley. Green is going to be James Crumbley.
Okay, and can you read those texts?
Yes. So Jennifer Crumbley asks, talk at 12, and then Mr. Crumbley responds, taking Ethan to store at 12, and then Mrs. Crumbley asks if you get gun.
Okay, and then the next? He's answering her?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Crumbley responds, yes, and Mo, I believe that's supposed to be no. Jennifer responds, huh. And then James says, we paid for the gun and bought it, but can't pick it up till everything clears Washington, in parentheses, FBI. Could be today, tomorrow, or next day, they don't know. And then Mrs. Crumbley responds, gotcha, bring me those fruit punch things when you come to bring hay.
All right. The message about he had to wait, did you, through your investigation, did it reveal that that's consistent with what happened?
Yes.
Okay. And remind the jury why.
So sometimes when you purchase a firearm, the background may take a little bit of time, depending on a lot of different factors. And in this case, it took enough time to where Mr. Crumbley had to come back the next day to pick up the firearm.
Okay, and then the next exhibit, People's 170. Do you know what that is?
Yes, this again is Facebook messages between James and Jennifer Crumbley. Blue is Jennifer, and she says, how much is your gun? And Mr. Crumbley replies, $300.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been marked as, and admitted as People's 29. This is a receipt for, what is it for? Do you know?
This is the receipt for the Cobra, for the Derringer. This is dated 6/15. It says 6/16 at the top, which is the date the actual sale went through, and it's for $180.15.
So this is not $300. Was there a gun he purchased that was $300 that day?
Approximately, yes.
And what gun was that?
That would have been the Caltech P17 22 caliber pistol.
Okay, so the Derringer, the small one, was $169, and this is the receipt for the Caltech. What else is on that receipt?
It's 2 boxes of ammunition at $14.95.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to draw your attention to June 26th, which is about 10 days later. Do you know if James Crumbley went to the gun range on that date?
Yes.
What? I'm sorry, 1 minute. I'm sorry, I skipped a page. Sorry about that. June 20th.
Yes, that's correct.
And the People's 171 is on the screen. Can you tell the jury what that was? What that is?
Yes, this is, again, Facebook messages between James and Jennifer Crumbley. In blue, Jennifer asks, can you guys answer your phone? And then James Crumbley responds, no, at gun range, loud.
All right. And People's... Did you find any videos through your investigation of the range on that day?
Yes.
And where'd you find it?
On James Crumbley's cell phone.
All right, and you're looking at 172 and 173. We're going to play those for the jury, but before we do, can you tell them what they're going to see?
Yes, so the first video is at 12:58 p.m. on June 20th, and it's a video of the shooter's son shooting the Caltech pistol at the gun range. And then the following video is a video of the defendant's son shooting the Derringer at an outdoor gun range a couple minutes later.
Okay.
Same range, both?
Yes.
Go ahead. All right. What, if anything, do you see or notice in that video?
In the second one?
Yes.
It appeared he almost shot his hand on during the video.
And why is that?
He had his hand in front of the muzzle of the firearm.
Okay, when you say he, who do you...
I'm sorry, the defendant, Mr. Crumbley's son.
Okay, the shooter.
Yes.
All right. Did you know, did James send those videos to anybody that day?
I don't recall if he sent them that day or the next day, but he did send them to Mrs. Crumbley at some point.
All right, and how do you know that?
I reviewed her cell phone as well.
Okay, and Exhibit 174, can you tell the jury what that is?
Yes, so that is one of the videos being sent on June 21st, 2021.
All right, and this is 2 slides, it's 2 slides, can you give me this one? And then, is this the second video?
Yeah, this is in the reverse order. So they're both videos were sent from James Crumbley to Jennifer Crumbley on June 21st, 2021.
Okay, so these exhibits are him sending her the videos?
Yes.
All right, did you learn what she did with the videos, if anything?
Yes, she took one of the videos and uploaded it, I believe, as an Instagram story.
Okay, and that's Exhibit 175. Can you read what the post says in addition to the video?
Sure. It says Ethan, and it tags, I believe that's Mr. Crumbley's Instagram account. Both got handguns this week, testing them out at the range.
All right. And then now we're to drawing your attention to June 26th. Did they go to the gun range that day?
Yes.
Do you know where it was?
It was at so for the rest of these, I believe it's the indoor gun range in Clarkston, Michigan.
Okay. And Exhibit 176, can you tell the jury what that is?
This is a receipt in the name of James Robert Crumbley on June 26, 2021 for one handgun range fee of $20 and then one small silhouette target at 75 cents.
Do you know if the videos were taken on that day?
Yes.
Do you know if they were sent to anyone?
I do.
And who were they sent to?
Jennifer Crumbley.
Okay. Drawing your attention to Exhibit 177. What is that, if you know?
This is a video sent from James Crumbley to Jennifer Crumbley of the shooter at the firearms range in Clarkston on June 26th.
Okay. And is 178, which is admitted, I believe, is this the video that was taken and sent to Jennifer?
Yes, this is actually, I believe, is the Instagram story that was created from that video and uploaded to Instagram by Jennifer Crumbley.
Can you tell from the video which firearm he's using?
Yes, that's the Kel-Tec P17 .22 caliber pistol.
Okay. Drawing your attention to July 2nd, did you uncover any evidence that James and his mother-in-law, Jennifer's mother, went to the range with the shooter?
Yes.
And how did you discover that?
So there were messages between James Crumbley and his mother-in-law on Facebook discussing a range visit. I think the conversation occurs on July 2nd, 2021, but it's actually for a range visit occurring on, I believe, July 3rd, 2021.
Okay, can you read that to the jury?
Sure. So in blue is going to be James Crumbley's mother-in-law. She says, still planning on taking the shooter to the gun range tomorrow morning. Then lunch, is he still available and do we need to make reservations? Mr. Crumbley responds, he is good, no reservations needed, I'll go with you guys. His mother-in-law replies, awesome, glad you could join us. We don't know what we are doing, LOL.
And then
Record, this is 377.
377. And then the next response from James?
Just take Maybe Road up to Dixie, turn left, and it will be on the right-hand side. The shooter will be excited. We will rent a few different guns. They have a special for 9mm on 25 for a box of 50. His mother-in-law replies, sounds great. Mr. Crumbley says, make it closer to 1045.
Right, and do we have any video from that day?
We do not.
Do we know who was there? Well, first, it's 179 and 180. What are those?
Those are receipts from July 25th. Those are not from that visit.
Okay, so now we're to July 25th.
Yes.
And what do those receipts show?
So on the left-hand side of the screen is looks like a purchase of ammunition for 6 boxes of 22 caliber ammunition for a total of $47.90 or $50.82 at the bottom. And then on the right, it's a range visit by Mr. Crumbley. It's a handgun range fee of $20, a small silhouette. I should mention that the receipt on the left also is in the name James Crumbley.
What's a silhouette mean?
It's a silhouette of a person that's used at a gun range.
Okay, and Exhibit 181, can you tell the jury what that is?
Yes, so this is geolocation information for the Gmail account for James Crumbley, and for, I believe he is in green on this, and then the purple dots would be Jennifer Crumbley, meeting on July 25th, 2021. Both Jennifer and James Crumbley were at the firearms range in Clarkston, Michigan.
Okay, drawing your attention to August 15th, Exhibit 183. This is a receipt. What is it for?
This is dated August 15th, 2021. The receipt has a range fee of $20 again. I believe that's so it'll be 200 rounds of 22 caliber ammunition and 1 small silhouette, again a silhouette of a person target.
And 184, what is this?
This is James Crumbley's Gmail geolocation information showing he was at the Clarkston gun range at that time.
Okay, and you were here for Ed Wogrowski's testimony, correct?
Yes.
All right. Did you see the video that the shooter sent to his friend in August of 2021?
I did.
All right. I'm going to put 70 and 71 up on the screen. That's one slide. First, what are we looking at?
So this is the first video filmed by the defendant's son on August 19th around 9:30 p.m. that was sent to his friend.
All right. And what time was it?
It was 9:31 p.m.
Okay. And can you see that video? Can we stop it right now? Okay, I'm stopping. Mr. Keast is stopping it. What are we looking at?
So this is the defendant's son holding the Kel-Tec P17 pistol. Doesn't appear to have a magazine inserted. Didn't appear to have a round in the chamber. The safety was, again, red means dead. The safety was not engaged.
Okay, and then can you continue? All right. Can you tell, based on, I should probably lay a better foundation, were you ever inside the Crumbley home?
Yes.
When were you there?
On the night of November 30th, 2021, the night of the shooting, we executed the search warrant there.
Okay, so you were there during the search?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize anything in that video that signifies where the shooter was?
I do, but not from being in the residence. It was from other cell phone extractions from, I believe, Mrs. Crumbley and Mr. Crumbley's phones. I believe they changed couches in that living room at some point. It was a black leather couch that I recognized being in the living room.
Okay. All right. Exhibit 72 and 73. They've both been previously admitted. Can you tell the jury what this is?
This is the video that I believe Detective Wogrowski had testified to previously. It was sent to the defendant's son's friend by the defendant's son on August 20th at 12:30 in the morning.
All right, and was there a text that accompanied this right after or before the video was sent?
Yes, it was around the time that the video was sent. I believe it said, my dad left it out, so I thought, why not, LOL. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if that's the exact text, but that's the general idea.
Can we have a text? The next slide. Next slide. Is that the text?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. And we're going to play the video, which has been previously admitted. And before we do, can you tell the jury what they're about to see?
Sure. So the defendant's son has the Kel-Tec P17 pistol in his hand. Again, the safety's not engaged. He slams the firearm down on top of the magazine, loads the magazine, and then sends the slide forward, chambering around into the firearm, meaning that if he pulled the trigger at that moment, it would go off.
Okay. All right. What do you see in that picture besides the Caltech?
Appears to be a cat.
And based on your investigation, do you know about that cat?
I believe that's the shooter's cat, Dexter.
All right. And what surface is that? Can you tell?
Yes. So after being in the home for the search warrant, I'm aware that is their kitchen. Really didn't have a kitchen area. It was more their living room or dining room table, so to speak. It was a higher kind of four-top table. That is the same wood grain that's on the table in their dining room.
All right. And we know this was taken at 12:30 a.m. Is that what you said?
I believe it was sent at 12:30, but I think it was taken relatively close to that time.
Okay. Do you hear anything else in the background?
All I heard was crickets and then the sound of the magazine and then the slide going forward.
Okay, and we previously introduced the GPS data that shows whether or not James Crumbley was in the home during this time. Was he?
He was.
Okay. Okay, can you just listen? All right, just want to talk to me about this video, Special Agent Brandon, and what your view is on whether or not what was happening in that video was safe.
So I would say that regardless if Mr. Crumbley was standing over his shoulder or not, that would not be safe. The firearm is on top of a dining room table. It's loaded, the safety's off, and it's pointed in a direction that if you're inside their home, you can't tell from the video whether he's facing the front of the home or the side of the home. But regardless, the firearm's pointed in a direction that would be almost chest level if a person was beyond the walls of the house or if a person was standing nearby. Not to mention almost, pointing the firearm at the cat.
All right. That's the magazine. Can you tell if it's loaded or not?
Yes, that magazine there, you can see the rounds of ammunition in the firearm.
All right, and you said, could you see whether there was a round in the chamber?
I don't believe there was until he loaded the magazine and then sent the slide forward, or else it would have malfunctioned.
Okay, where's he loading? That's loading the magazine. Is that's the safety?
Yep, so the safety's not engaged, and the round is, the top of the magazine is visible there, and once he sends that slide forward, that's what takes that round and puts it into the chamber.
Okay. What if that was being supervised by somebody like James? Would it change your opinion of the safety of that action?
No, so based on what we spoke about before being the 4 rules of firearm safety, so obviously that firearm is loaded, so treat every firearm like it's loaded. Point it in a safe direction, so there's really no safe direction for that firearm to be if it's chest level on a table. The only safe position would be whether it was outside or pointed at the floor. Obviously if you're loading a firearm to carry on your person, you point it at the floor where it's away from people so it can't hurt anyone at the discharge.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to September 1st. Did the defendant, did James take his son to the shooting range on that day?
Your Honor, I'm just going to ask for clarification. September 1st of what year?
2021. The weapons weren't purchased until June 2021 and November 2021.
Yes, I believe that's correct, yes.
All right, and Exhibit 185, what is that?
It says, it's a Facebook message from James Crumbley to Jennifer Crumbley, and it says, the shooter and I are headed to the gun range.
And Exhibit 186 and 187?
Those are receipts from the gun range in Clarkston, both in James Crumbley's name. The one on the left is for range time. It's like 200 rounds of .22 caliber ammunition, 2 silhouette targets, and then a rental of a .22 caliber revolver. And then on the right-hand side is one 50-round box of .22 caliber ammunition.
Did James take a video of his son that day?
Yes.
And how do you know?
It was located on James Crumbley's phone.
And that's Exhibit 188?
Yes.
All right, we're going to play that. All right. On September 25th of 2021, did you come to learn that James took his son to the range on that day?
Yes.
And this is Exhibit 189. What's that receipt for?
So it's a receipt again, and the name's James Robert Crumbley. It's got a range fee, a rental of a 9mm pistol, 9mm ammunition, 22 caliber ammunition, as well as a black torso target, it says.
All right. And this, do you know if that was a SIG?
That was not. It was a 9mm HK VP9.
Okay. Is there a video of that day?
Yes. So the actual gun range surveillance video. This was the furthest back for the range visits that we could get due to the footage writing over itself. So September 25th was the first date that we actually could get footage from the gun range in Clarksville.
All right. And this is 190. We're going to play that. And what are we looking at here?
So this is at the gun range in Clarkson. This is outside of the shooting area. This is where you pay for targets, ammunition, rent firearms. In the white sweatshirt is Mr. Crumbley wearing looks like a Seattle Seahawks ball cap. And then you have the shooter wearing a gray sweatshirt, dark colored pants, Nike shoes, and a black hat.
And what do you observe James Crumbley wearing at his belt level?
Appears to be a holster.
And can you tell the jury what you're observing?
So at some point, it looks like the shooter was trying to clear a malfunction from the firearm. He's checking the chamber to see if a round's chambered. He's having some kind of malfunction with it, and he is having trouble clearing it.
And can you tell what firearm that is?
The footage here is real grainy. I can't say for certain.
And what does he appear to be doing right at this time?
So he keeps checking the chamber for a round. He's having issues with it. He goes over to Mr. Crumbley. They walk back over. Mr. Crumbley picks up the firearm. He racks the slide 3 times to try to see what's going on with the firearm, and then he inserts the magazine here and gets the firearm back in operating condition.
difference between the 9mm ammunition and 22 ammunition?
So just generally speaking, the 9mm ammunition is more expensive than 22 caliber ammunition. 22 caliber ammunition is more for target practice, and 9mm ammunition we use for anything from target practice to home defense. It's generally more expensive for 9mm ammunition.
And when you say more expensive, can you roughly say about how much, generally?
It honestly,
Objection to relevance, Your Honor.
Yeah, what's the relevance?
The relevance is that 9mm ammunition is expensive, and it's typically not something that you would buy just to shoot at the range, particularly if this is your hobby. It's expensive.
That calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Well, unless he knows. Unless he knows.
Is 9mm ammunition, because of the cost, is it something that you typically see at a range?
people do shoot 9mm ammunition at the range. Now, what level of money they're willing to pay for that type of ammunition all varies depending on if you're going to shoot at the range. Obviously, you're going to try to use less expensive ammunition, but that'd be speculating anything beyond that.
Okay, thank you. Drawing your attention to October 3rd, was there evidence uncovered that James and his son went to the range on that day?
Yes.
And Exhibit 191, that's a Facebook message?
Yes, this is from James Crumbley to Jennifer Crumbley on October 3rd at 12:01 p.m. It says, "Cool, just got cleaning our guns, leaving for range in a few."
All right, and then 192 is a receipt from that day?
Yes, it's from October 3rd, 2021, in the name James Robert Crumbley. It's for a silhouette target, a range fee. I believe that's 100 rounds of 22 caliber ammunition, and then an additional, it looks like an additional 2 boxes of 22 caliber ammunition.
All right. Drawing your attention now to November 26th of 2021, you testified earlier that you were involved in the tracing of the weapon and the purchase of it on that day, correct?
Yes.
All right. And was that 9mm SIG purchased on that day?
Yes.
I'm showing you previously admitted 37 and 38. We've talked about this. What are these?
This is the receipt from the gun store in Oxford for the Sig Sauer SP 2022 9mm pistol that was sold to James Crumbley.
All right, and the cost?
It was the gun itself was $489.95 with tax. It was a total of $519.35.
All right, and 38 is what?
This is the pistol sales record that would have been completed by the gun store and signed by Mr. Crumbley, documenting his purchase of the Sig Sauer pistol.
And were you able to, or did you review any posts that the shooter made with this firearm purchased for him?
Yes.
All right, and I want to draw your attention to Exhibit 95, and there are 3 slides here. What's the first one?
So the first one, so the text for the post was November 26th. Says, "Just got my new beauty today, Sig Sauer 9mm. Ask any questions, I will answer." It's a picture in the Crumbley's kitchen. It's hard to see from this photograph, but there's you see yellow and then some wood flow underneath it. That's the counters in their kitchen.
So I'm holding the box, so this would be showing through this handle with the circle?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and that is the Sig Sauer SP 2022 purchased by James Crumbley.
All right, and then the second slide?
This is a picture of the defendant's son holding the Sig Sauer SP 2022 in the Crumbley family residence. That's the same floor inside their house.
And it's a post?
Yes.
All right, and it says?
It's the same. So the same text appears in all 3 photographs, but there's the second. There's the first photograph of just the firearm, the second of Mr. Crumbley's son holding the firearm, and then the third picture, I believe, is the Mr. Crumbley's son lining up the sights. So on a firearm, there's the rear sights and the front sights, and when you line those up, that's what you're shooting at. That's what you use to aim, and that's where those 3 dots are aligned. That's Mr. Crumbley's son pointing the firearm at the floor inside their residence.
All right. Drawing your attention to 97, Exhibit 97. This is, where was this photo found?
This was found on Jennifer Crumbley's cell phone. It depicts the top firearm where you see the red dot again is the Kel-Tec the P17. And then the bottom firearm is the murder weapon. It's the Sig Sauer SP 2022. This is all inside of the Sig Sauer box. You see the 2 Sig magazines on the right side of the screen, plus the ATF pamphlet and the cable lock provided by Sig Sauer.
Okay. Anything stand out to you about this picture?
As far as,
The ATF
well,
pamphlet?
the pamphlet obviously is on top of the foam in this picture, and the cable lock is still in the box with the SIG sour. Obviously, it was later recovered in the Caltech box, not in the box with the SIG sour.
All right, and in addition to the ATF pamphlet, is there anything else posted at the gun store about safety?
Yes, so behind the counter in the gun store in Oxford is the same 4 bullet points that are on the inside left cover of that ATF Youth Handgun Safety Act. It hangs behind the counter.
All right.
Remember, it's 193.
Yes, it's 193. All right. And this is me. Okay. All right. This is Exhibit 42. What is this?
That is the cable lock that was provided with the SIG Sauer pistol.
All right, and is this cable lock is specifically provided with the SIG, with this actual gun?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and looking at this, I'm going to hand it to you now.
Can I get another pair of gloves? It's getting a little hot up here.
I know I took mine off too.
Is it getting hot in here?
Yeah.
It's climbing.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Thank you.
I don't know if those are the small ones.
That's all right.
We're working on it.
Definitely smaller ones this time.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I do have the bigger one.
That's all right.
You got them on. Okay. I'm going to hand this to you, and then I'm going to ask you to tell the jury whether or not you think this has ever been opened.
So I would say, is it possible that this top part had been opened? Yes. If this was used consistently and pulled out of this packaging, there'd be more tearing on the side. It's cheap plastic packaging.
All right, and what's inside of it at the bottom?
So there's the instruction manual in here, as well as the 2 keys that are still inserted in the cable lock.
Okay, and your testimony is this is provided with, I'm going to take this back. This was provided with the SIG when it was purchased on November 26th, correct?
Yes.
And where was this found in the home when you searched it on November 30th, 2021?
That was in the Caltech box in the kitchen.
All right, so it was found not in the SIG box.
No.
So the Caltech box, which is somewhere here.
Underneath the SIG box. Yeah.
Okay. So the SIG cable lock was found with the Caltech. Where was the Caltech?
The Caltech box is in the kitchen.
Okay, but the Caltech, the weapon, was in the gun safe?
That's correct, yeah. The Caltech pistol was in the gun safe in the Crumbley's bedroom.
Okay, so this was found open or closed?
That was closed.
All right, and did you testify earlier this was found in a cabinet in the kitchen?
I believe it was a cabinet or like a little space in the kitchen underneath it, like an island or whatever.
Okay, and if we go back to the picture that Jennifer Crumbley posted, same cable lock?
Yes.
Okay. On November 27th, drawing your attention to Exhibit 195, what is that?
That is a receipt from the range in the name Jennifer Lynn Crumbley for November 27, 2021. It's for pistol range visit, 1 target, and 2 boxes of Patriot Defense 9mm 124 grain ammunition at $23 or almost $24 a box.
Okay, so 4 days earlier when the gun was purchased, is there a video of that?
Yes.
The purchase of the gun? On the 20th.
Is there a video of the purchase of the gun? No. The gun store did not have footage for that day.
Okay, so but this is the 27th, the next day. Is that a Saturday?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and is there a video from that?
Yes, there was footage at the gun range in Clarkson. There was not footage at the gun store in Oxford.
Okay, and do you heard all the testimony before? Were you able to determine where James Crumbley was on this day, on a Saturday when Jennifer and the shooter went to the range?
Yes, he was working that day doing DoorDash deliveries for most of the day.
Okay. All right. It's Exhibit 196. I'm going to play this and the first part of it and stop for a moment at the counter and then move to, I think, just a section at the end because it's long. So
Sure.
just wanted to let everyone know. Okay, so what are we looking at right now?
So the woman holding the pistol case, that's the 6-hour pistol case, that's Jennifer Crumbley. Behind her is the shooter wearing that gray sweatshirt and sweatpants and black shoes.
Now, she's paying for what, if you know?
So right now I think she just handed him her license.
Okay.
Based on the receipts for this visit, like I said, there was the target, 2 boxes of 9mm ammunition, and then the range visit itself.
All right. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. What is he doing?
He made it 2 with his hand.
All right, and how many boxes of ammo did they actually purchase?
2.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. It sounds like the prosecution is asking Agent Brandon to speculate as to what the number 2 could be. There are also 2 people there. There could be 2 sets of ear protection. It could be 2 targets. It could be 2 of anything. She's asking for speculation.
That goes to weight, not admissibility.
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
You don't know what he was referring to, there's no sound.
I don't. If you play the video and it continues, you'll see what happens next.
Okay.
Okay. And if you know what is happening now?
It's picking up targets and 2 boxes of ammunition. He's bringing the 2 boxes of ammunition up now.
And how much were the 2 boxes of ammunition for 9mm? A 9mm.
I don't recall. It would be on the previous slide for the receipt, but I think it was around $24.
$24 total or $24 for each box?
I believe it was 24 for each box.
Okay. All right, we're going to now go to what happens after they leave here.
So they pay for their range visit, they get their firearm, or the ammunition, the targets, they then proceed to go put ear protection on and walk into the range and begin to load magazines and then take turns firing the weapon.
All right, and we're going to go to the segment where they're actually firing the weapon. Okay, what's happening here?
So in the back, the shooter is loading ammunition into the magazines. At one point during the video, Mrs. Crumbley does help load at least a couple rounds of ammunition as well into the magazines, and then they proceed to take turns shooting the firearm.
All right, and that's, we're going to speed to a part. Is there some point where you're observing him instructing or trying to help his mother?
Yes.
All right. Okay, what are we seeing here?
So this is one of the times that the shooter shot the murder weapon. He sends the target down range, loads the magazine into the firearm, and then discharges it several times.
Now, as far as you know, in terms of looking at all the evidence, is that the first time he's fired that weapon, if you know?
Yes, based on all the evidence I was able to locate, this is the first time, yes.
Okay, we're going to jump ahead to, if you know, does Jennifer Crumbley ever fire the weapon?
Yes, she takes, I think, 2 total turns firing the weapon, I believe.
Okay. And what are you observing right now?
So in the video, the shooter's instructing his mother how to load a magazine and chamber around. Right now he's pointing to the slide release, telling her how to send the slide forward and chamber around from that magazine in the firearm.
How many rounds, if you know, did they fire that day?
I believe it was a total of 50. There was 2 boxes of 50 rounds of ammunition, and they left the range with 1 full box of 50 rounds.
Do you know how many she fired versus the shooter?
I don't know the exact number. I know that it was significantly more for the shooter than his mother.
Okay, do you know, how do you know that they left with a 1 full box?
So at the end of the video, the shooter packages up the 6-hour in the 6-hour pistol case, and then hands the box. His mom takes the box, Mrs. Crumbley takes the box as they leave, and the shooter walks out carrying the box of ammunition.
Okay, and we're going to fast forward to that part. Do you see any, can you, in watching this video, is it visible, the actual case?
Yes.
And do you see a lock or the ATF pamphlet?
No, not during this video, no.
Okay. And is that the SIG case?
It is.
Now, is he permitted to carry that gun out of the range?
So there would be nothing barring him with his mother's supervision right there for carrying the firearm, no.
Okay. And what about the ammo?
Same with the ammo.
Okay. And we see later, he's packaging it up?
Yes.
Okay. And we see later them leaving, and who's carrying what?
Right now he's trying to figure out how to fit all the magazines and the firearm in the pistol case. He eventually is successful in doing so, closes the clamps on the firearm case. His mother walks out with it, and he walks out with the ammunition.
Okay. And if you know, how many rounds did he take to the school that day?
I believe there was a total of 50 based on the number of rounds discharged being 32 and the rounds recovered.
We talked about the cable lock that was sold with the SIG. If it had been installed in that firearm, about how long does that take to install a cable lock?
If the slide's already to the rear of the firearm and the magazine port and the ejection port are visible, it would take under 10 seconds.
Okay. I want to, lastly, draw your attention to Exhibit 130. What's that?
So this is an Instagram post by the defendant's son.
It's 100, sorry.
Oh, yeah. By the defendant's son, after returning from the shooting range, took my new SIG out to the range today. Definitely need to get used to the new sights, LOL, and then there's a picture of his target.
All right. And this is a post that Jennifer Crumbley posted that day?
Yes, that same day, mom and son day, testing out his new Xmas present. My first time shooting a 9mm, I hit the bullseye.
And this is just a different picture with the same post?
Yes, I believe she had 3 photographs with her post, including the 6 Sauer on the kitchen counter with the ATF pamphlet underneath.
And do you see a cable up?
I do not.
Okay. Moving to Exhibit 130. This is the math worksheet.
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity during your investigation to look at this?
Yes.
And what caught your attention, if anything, with this drawing?
Well, the very first thing I noticed was that there was an apparent shooting victim on the drawing. Whether it was a fatal shooting, not fatal shooting, I'm not certain, but clearly when I looked at it, it was not a suicide.
Anything else?
Yes, so the firearm that was drawn on the piece of paper, after reviewing the murder weapon, I noted several similarities between the two and believed that this was actually a drawing of the murder weapon.
And what was similar?
So on the back of the murder weapon, there are striations or lines on the slide of the firearm. Additionally, the shape of the trigger guard, so it's the part where the trigger is housed in. It's that kind of I would say that it's like a half U shape where the trigger is inside of, as well as where the ejection port is, and most notably the magazine. So the bottom of that firearm, you see how it's not flush, how there's basically 2 parts there? That part on the Sig Sauer magazines, there's like a lip that's different than other firearms that shows how it kind of like curves down in the front.
All right, next I'm going to, what about is there a picture of any ammo on that drawing?
Yes, there's a picture of ammunition. It's definitely a pistol caliber ammunition. It's definitely not .22 caliber ammunition. It does appear to be a 9mm round of ammunition, or at least resemble one.
Okay, and next I'm showing you exhibits previously admitted, 97, 101, and 130. What are we looking at?
So those are pictures of the murder weapon on either side. You can see the markings I was talking about, the striations on the back of the slide of the firearm, the shape of the magazine, especially when you look on the picture on the right. You see how it's not a flat shape, it doesn't sit flush with the firearm, how there's different levels there. Additionally, the location of the ejection port and the shape of that trigger guard, again, that half kind of U shape there.
And Special Agent Brandon, my last question is, what was your impression when you viewed that drawing?
My impression when I viewed the drawing?
Yes.
That he drew his firearm.
And the entire drawing, what was your conclusion or what were your impressions through your investigation? What was the drawing up?
He drew a murder.
Thank you. Nothing further. Can we take a break at this time, Ryder? I think the jury's probably...
Sure, you need a break, right, Mr. Wayne? Would you like a break?
Yes, please, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, I have asked about the heat, but this is an old building, and this happens all the time. An hour from now, we'll all be freezing, so. And then let's take a 10 or 15-minute break. You can step down. Please not discuss your testimony with anyone.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
All right, for the jury.
More courtroom coverage in the trial of James Crumbley from the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today is coming up. Press subscribe now so you don't miss a minute.